بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعزائي طلبة وطالبات الصف الثالث الإعدادي. Today, inshallah, we will start the first unit in the second term, New Hello, and the title of the unit is Our World. Let's start with the objectives of the unit. Reading a fact file about natural wonders of Egypt. A project about Wadi al-Hitan, Black Beauty by Anna Swill, an informational text. Writing a fact file about a natural wonder, a short article about an animal. Listening, a talk about habitats, a description of a natural wonders, a discussion about a story. Also, we will have a conversation asking for clarification. Speaking, talking about animals, habitats, and natural wonders, expressing lack of understanding and asking for clarification. Language, the grammar of this unit will be about the past, simple, passive, with and without, by. Life skills, respect for diversity in nature. Let's start with the new vocabulary of lessons 1 and 2. I want you to read carefully and look for the Arabic meaning of the words. Coastal, polar, wetland, rain, it's used as a verb and as a noun. Areas, rainforest, research, also it is used as a verb and a noun. بحث علمي ويبحث. Cover is used as a verb and a noun. Grassland, desert, frog, lake, the earth. Orangutan, turtle, polar bear. Natural, wonders, list, continue, visitors, contain, destroy, local people, volunteers, shooting star, pollute, triangle, bright, palm tree, factory, wildlife, mountain, caracal. This is a kind of cats, wild cats. Habitat, ocean, national, fact file, environment, letter, bin, pollute, beautiful, different, shapes, location, describe, date, protect, wind. Mountain, wind, field, believe, magazine, paint, basket, date. And here we will start with prepositions and expressions. بعض حروف الجر والتعبيرات. At the top of, surrounded by, cut down, a piece of, look like, sleep standing up, easy to reach, be known as, half of, covered by, at different times, at the bottom of, is called, on the side of, filled with, at different times, 3-hour drive. And you notice here we don't add s to the noun hour, 3-hour drive without s. In the middle of, take its name from, cut out of the rock, قطعة من الصخر. Change at, filled with. Now we will go to a different item of that unit, lesson 1 and 2, synonyms and antonyms. Modern, new. Antonyms: old, not, non-modern. Difficult, hard. Antonym: easy. Beautiful, handsome, attractive. Antonym: ugly. Build, create, make. Antonym: destroy, يدمر. Large, big, giant. Giant, عملاق. Antonyms: little, small. Interesting, exciting. And the antonym is boring. Far, remote. And the antonym is near. Now we will see some definitions. I want to take care of these definitions, my dear students. Grassland. It's a large natural area of land which is mostly grass. Rainforest. These habitats have a lot of trees. They are usually very hot and a lot of rain, have a lot of rain, of course. Wetland, an area of land is often flooded by water. Polar, describing things to do with the north or south poles, القطب الشمالي أو الجنوبي. Coastal, ساحلي, describing or belonging to land that is next to the sea. Crackle, a wild cat with long legs and big ears that lives in Africa and Asia. Oasis, an area in the desert where you can find water. واحة, surrounded by, محاط ب, everywhere around you. Fill, يملأ, make something full so there is no space of any more of something. Shape, شكل, the form made by the outside of something, for example, a square, مربع, a circle, or a triangle, مثلث. Orangutan, this is a kind of monkeys, نوع من القردة, a large animal with red hair and long arms, which lives in the trees of Indonesia. يسمى إنسان الغابة. Habitat, موطن, the natural home of an animal or plant. Polar bear, الدب القطبي, a large white bear which lives on the ice of the Arctic. Wonders, something that makes you feel it's beautiful or amazing. أحد العجائب. Now we will do some exercise about the vocabulary. It's an interesting story. The word interesting can be replaced by sad, exciting, boring, or bad. Of course, interesting, the synonym of interesting is exciting. Yes. The noun coast can be an adjective by adding al, er, ful, ed. Of course, we say coastal, so the right answer is al. Coastal. Space habitats usually have large green areas and no mountains. Have large green areas. منطقة خضراء شاسعة. إذن هتكون grassland. أرض عشبية. The lake, the shooting star. The lake, of course, grown, sold, laid, cold, is cold, تسمى. Habitats have a lot of trees. They are usually very hot and have a lot of rain. Habitats have a lot of trees. They are usually very hot and have a lot of rain. فيها أمطار كثيرة وكثيفة الأشجار هتكون بالطبع rain forest، الغابات الاستوائية. The opposite of build is create, do, destroy, make. Of course عكس البناء التدمير. There is not always rain in the habitats, but there's always a lot of water. There is not always rain in the wetland, mountain, polar, desert, but there is always a lot of water. wetland الأرض الرطبة. Habitats are always cold and are often covered by ice. الأرض المغطاة أو موطن الثلوج والأرض الباردة جدا polar habitats، المناطق القطبية. The words and old are opposites. The word coastal, natural, modern. Of course, the words modern and old حديث وقديم كلمة وعكسها. Habitats are next to the sea or the ocean. You often find rocks there. Habitats are next to the sea. المنطقة الملاصقة أو القريبة من البحر بتكون coastal habitats. coastal ساحلي. The new hotel on the beach is an interesting, it looks like a ship. The new hotel on the beach is an interesting shape. شكل جميل. It looks like يبدو كالسفينة. Mr. Tariq's house is by trees. Is wandered, laid, surrounded like. Of course, is surrounded محاط بالأشجار. The farmer built a big fence around his field to his animals. fence here معناها سياج أو سور. يبقى هنا الفلاح بنى سور حول الحقول to protect لكي يحمي. Remember to your bottles with water before we go to the desert. Remember to fill. I think that the internet is of modern technology, is a wonder, oasis, bottle, desert. Of course, a wonder, أحد عجائب التكنولوجيا الحديثة. Siwa is a famous in Egypt, is a famous furniture, date, fields, oasis. Yes. واحة مشهورة في مصر. And now, my dear students, we will go to the second part of our session. That is a revision of the grammar. That is the present simple. We have studied the present simple in the first term, and this is a quick revision about the present simple. The present simple is the base form of the verb. I work in London, but with the third person singular, مع الضمائر he, she, it, we add s and sometimes es, sometimes es. She works in London. My uncle lives in Alexandria with his family. Present simple questions. Of course, we use the auxiliary do and does. بنستخدم الفعل المساعد do و does لتكوين السؤال في المضارع البسيط. Do you play the piano? Where do you live? Does Jack play football? Where does he come from? When does your father usually get up? We use do and does to make questions with the present simple. We use does for the third person singular, he, she, it. And of course, singular nouns, Ahmed, Muhammad, Ali. And do for the others. We use do and does with question words like where, what, and when. But questions with who often don't use do or does. For example, when I ask about a subject like who lives in London, who plays football in the weekend or at the weekend, who works at Liverpool City Hospital. Present simple negative. How can we make the negative? كيف نكون النفي؟ طبعا بنكون النفي باستخدام don't and doesn't. Don't مع الضمائر I, we, you, they and plural nouns. Doesn't with he, she, it and singular nouns. I like tennis but I don't like football. I don't play the piano but I play the guitar. They don't work at the weekend. Ahmed doesn't live in Manchester. Jana doesn't drive to work. She goes by bus. We use do and does to make negative with the present simple. We use doesn't for the third person singular, he, she, it, and don't for the others. The present simple for scheduled events. I want to remind you, my dear students, that we use the present simple for scheduled events, أحداث مجدولة في المستقبل. Use the present simple to talk about scheduled events like what? When, what time does the exhibition start? It starts at 9:30. That means that it will start. سوف يبدأ في 9:30. The first metro train leaves at 8:20. يبقى هنا ده جدول من جدول مواعيد المترو. يبدأ المغادرة في 8:30. The present simple passive. Okay, this is also a revision about the present simple passive. We start with the object, then am, is, are, plus verb 3 or past participle. And the question form, we start with am, is, are, plus object, plus verb 3 or past participle. Examples: farmers grow cotton in Egypt, in Upper Egypt in summer. Here is farmers is the subject, grow is the verb, and the object is the cotton. So we start with the object. Cotton is grown in Upper Egypt in summer. This is passive. So many people here is the subject of the sentence. Speak is the verb, هو الفعل. English is the object. All over the world. This is an active sentence. If we want to put it in the passive, we start with English. English is spoken. English is spoken all over the world by so many people. This is passive. If we want to change a question like this, who sells umbrellas? This is active. Who are umbrellas sold by? We started with the question word, then are, the object, the past participle. My mother doesn't paint the walls. This is active. If we want to put a negative sentence, we put the auxiliary am, is, are in the negative form. So the walls aren't. بننفي الام والإز والار هتصبح the walls aren't painted by my mother, and this is passive. Now this is a short exercise about the passive in the present. The Egyptian Museum by many million tourists every year. The Egyptian Museum, of course, is visited. Is visited. Books in that shop over there. Books selling are sold. Sells, of course, are sold. Yes, because books here is plural, جمع, فتختارنا are sold. Rami TV very often. We notice here, my dear students, that this is an active sentence, so there is no need to choose a passive form. Rami isn't watched don't watch, aren't watched, doesn't watch. Of course, the right answer is doesn't watch, because this is an active sentence. جبل إلبة by tourists isn't visited, aren't visited, isn't visiting, aren't visiting. Of course, جبل علبة is singular, so isn't visited. Hundreds of date palm trees اللي هي النخل trees in Egypt grow, grown, grow, are grown. Of course, are grown. And here is another exercise. Many, put the following sentence into the passive voice. Many people read this writer's articles. If we look at here at the subject of the sentence, many people, this is the verb, and this is this writer's article is the object of the sentence. So we start with the object. Here, the object, is it singular or plural? Yes, this is writer's article. يبقى are, read, 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 are read. We write it read, but it is pronounced read. تكتب read لكنها تنطق read. By this writer's articles are read by many people. Good. Next. Jackie milks the cows every morning. Here the subject is Jackie, milks is the verb, the cows is the object. So we start with the object, the cows. Is it singular or plural? Yes, it's plural. So are. The verb milk is regular verb, so we add ed, is milked by Jackie. Every morning. Yes. Kids always eat candies. What is the subject? Kids, and the object, candies, and the verb eat. The tense is present, so candies are always eaten by kids. كل الأطفال بيحبوا الحلوى. Candies are always eaten by kids. Does the mechanic check the brakes regularly? Here, this is a question, and it starts with auxiliary. The mechanic is the subject, check the verb, and brakes is the object. يبقى هنا ايه؟ are the brakes checked regularly by the mechanic. Are the brakes yes. Now complete the sentence with the correct form of the words in the practice. Look at the answers here. Yes, thank you. Now, another exercise. Fewer magazines are sold today by news agents because of the internet. Ice covers the land. Many new cars are made. Yes, our beaches are, yes, visited, past participle. Squash doesn't play by many students, isn't played, isn't. Many houses built in coastal areas are built. We are found 4 important wetlands in Egypt. We found. Here, we, this is an active sentence, so we found. People are cut down a lot of 4-hour rainforest every year. People are cut down a lot for our rainforest every year. People cut down. This is not passive, this is an active sentence. The dates sold in many shops in the area. Of course, here this is passive because it started with the object, بدأ بالمفعول. إذن هذه الجملة مبنية للمجهول are sold. The carga oasis is surrounded by desert. Our window cleaned once a month. Of course, is cleaned. ينظف. Is cleaned once a month. It started with the object. A lot of paper makes from wood. A lot of paper here, paper, you should take care that it's we deal it with as a singular noun. A lot of paper is made from wood. يصنع من الخشب. My mother are cooked our meals. My mother cooks our meal. This is present simple. Arabic writes from right to left. Of course, this is passive, so Arabic is written. My homework is did, of course, is done. We are spend too much money on holiday. We spend ننفق أموال كثيرة في الأجازات. We spend. More chocolate eaten. More chocolate is eaten. This is passive, is eaten in the USA than any other countries. That's why so many people in America are suffering from overweight. Now the past simple. The second part of our grammar is about the past simple. Now take care, my dear students, with most verbs, the past tense is formed by adding ed, like what? Open, opened, arrive, arrived, watch, watch it, ask it. But there are a lot of irregular past tense forms in English, like what? الأفعال الغير قياسية, like buy, bought, see, saw, eat, ate, sleep, slept, drive, drove, and so many. And I want you to put this list and try to keep the list of irregular verbs in your mind, my dear students. We use the past tense to talk about what? Something that happened once in the past. شيء حدث في الماضي. I met my wife in 1983. We went to Spain for our holidays. They got home very late last night. Something that happened several times in the past. حدث مرات عديدة في الماضي. When I was a boy, I walked a mile to school every day. We swam a lot while we were on holiday. They always enjoyed visiting their friends. The past simple questions and negatives, we use did to make questions with the past simple. كما استعملنا في المضارع البسيط do and does as a helping verb, here we use did, and it is followed by infinitive يتبعه مصدر الفعل. Did she play tennis when she was younger? Did you live abroad? When did you meet your wife? Where did you go for your holidays? But questions with who often don't use did. لما بنسأل على subject بنسأل ب who ولا نستخدم فعل مساعد. Who discovered penicillin? Who wrote Don Quixote? This Don Quixote is a famous story. Yes, past simple passive. And this is the new lesson for grammar in unit 1, in unit 7, sorry. Affirmative form object, you start with the object, was, were, plus verb 3 or the past participle. And the question form, was, were, plus object, plus verb 3. This is the form of the question in the passive form. Examples. The teacher corrected the mistakes. The teacher is the subject, corrected is the verb, the mistakes is the object of the sentence, and the tense is past simple. So we start with that form, object, was, were, and verb 3. Here is the object, were, and corrected. The mistakes were corrected by the teacher. Here's the question. Did the little boy sell all the candy bars? Here, the form of the question, as you see, was or were plus object plus verb 3. So here, because here the object is plural, we used were. Were all the candies, this is the object. And here is the past participle of the verb sell. Were all the candies bars sold by the little boy? Lorraine didn't eat any apples. No apples were eaten by Lorraine or Lorraine. He didn't give the wallet. The wallet wasn't given by him. If we the verb is in the negative form, we also put the verb to be, was, or were in the negative form. So the wallet wasn't given by him. Now to exercise, put the following sentences into passive voice, simple past. The company chose me to present the project. Where is the object here? The object, of course, me. The company chose me. So the answer will be I was chosen to present the project by the company. I was chosen. Choose, chose, chosen. This is the conjugation of the verb choose. تصريف فعل choose. I was chosen to present the project by the company. 3 men robbed the local bank. 3 men is the subject, robbed is the verb, the local bank is the object. So we start with the object, the local bank. Bank was robbed by 3 men. If we see that the subject of the sentence will add to the meaning of the sentence, we use it. يعني إذا رأينا إن الأوبجكت subject فاعل الجملة سيضيف لمعنى الجملة نستخدمه. إذا كان لا يضيف إلى معنى الجملة لا نستخدمه. The local bank was robbed by 3 men. Here, the 3 men will add to the meaning of the sentence. Shadi didn't take this speech seriously. Where is the object here? The object, this speech. Shadi didn't take this speech. يبقى هنا this speech wasn't taken seriously by who? By Shadi. This speech wasn't taken seriously by Shadi. Good. Yesterday's earthquake shook the whole town. The conjugation of the verb shook, shake, shook, shaken. اوكي، ده تصريف الفعل شيك بمعنى يهتز او يرتج. Yes. Yesterday's earthquake shook the whole town. So the object here, the whole town was shaken. اهتزت by yesterday's earthquake. The whole town was shaking. Did the president make an important speech last night? Here it's a question. So where is the object? The object, an important speech. An important speech is the object of the sentence. So I start with the object. An important speech. But here it's a question. So I will start with was an important speech made by the president by the president last night was an important speech made by the president last night, and we put also a question mark. The wild animal killed 2 men yesterday. 2 men were killed by the wild animal yesterday. Yes. Now we finished with the second part of our session, that is the grammar. Now we will go to a reading lesson. Read the online article quickly and discuss the questions in pairs. Natural wonders of Egypt. عجائب الطبيعية في مصر. Egypt is visited by more than 14 million tourists every year. We have made a list of natural wonders of Egypt that we think visitors should know about. ما هي العجائب الطبيعية الموجودة في مصر؟ We have White Desert National Park, النايزك Lake, and جبل إلبا. White Desert National Park, الصحراء البيضاء أو منتزه الصحراء البيضاء, where this huge desert starts on the western side of the river Nile and continues into Libya وتمتد إلى ليبيا. This natural Nizak Lake, where is it? This natural lake is a 3-hour drive from Hurghada, على بعد 3 ساعات من الغردقة. جبل علبة. This national park is surrounded by grassland, محاط بالأراضي العشبية, between the Red Sea coast and the mountains والجبال. What? ما أهمية هذه العجائب؟ Number 1, it contains 5 oases with rocks that the wind has made into. بعض الصخور التي صنعتها الرياح. The second اللي هو النايزك Lake. This lake is called the shooting stars by locals. يعني أطلق عليها الناس المحليين هذا الاسم shooting stars because it is believed that a piece of star meteorite, يعني أحد النيازك, fell into it, سقط فيها. The lake is cut out of the rock in the shape of an eye, على شكل عين, and is filled with the bright blue water of the Red Sea, ومملوءة بالمياه الزرقاء للبحر الأحمر. جبل علبة. This national park takes its name from the mountain on its middle, بالجبل الذي يتوسطها. The first one اللي هو White Desert National Park, as we said, it contains 5 oases with rocks that the wind has made into strange shapes. شكلتها في أشكال غريبة أو أشكال مدهشة. Why is it a wonder? لماذا اعتبرت هذه الأماكن أحد العجائب الطبيعية؟ Number 1 اللي هو الصحراء البيضاء دي أو الرمال البيضاء. The colors change at different times of day. الألوان بتتغير على مدار اليوم and make them beautiful to look at. أما الجزء الثاني وهو النايزك ليك، لماذا اختير كأحد العجائب الطبيعية؟ It is described by visitors as one of the best places to dive and swim. أحد الأماكن أهم الأماكن للغطس والسباحة. جبل علبة، لماذا اختير أحد العجائب؟ it is unusually green. لأن هذا الجبل رغم إنه في منطقة صحراوية إلا إنه يتميز بالخضرة and home to many animals. وهو موطن لكثير من الحيوانات and birds. However, as it isn't easy to reach, ليس من السهل الوصول إليه. It isn't visited often. لا يزار كثيرا. Its location should help to protect the wildlife there. وبكده أبنائي وأعزائي طلاب الصف الثالث الإعدادي انتهينا من الدرس الأول والثاني من Unit 7 الوحدة الأولى في الفصل الدراسي الثاني second term till we meet again in lessons 3 and 4. أتمنى لكم قضاء وقت طيب مع هذا الفيديو وأتمنى أن تكونوا قد فهمتم درس اليوم. I wish you the best of luck. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being with me. Don't forget to put like and subscribe to my channel. Till we meet again, thank you and goodbye.